So, guys, how do you kill your bad habits? Now, real quick, what is a bad habit? Bad habit is a behavior which you want to get rid of. That means you do not want it. That means that's why it's called bad. You don't like it, but you cannot get out of it. Okay, so you are kind of stuck there. So, how do you get out of it? Okay, how does our brain work? Now, what is a habit? So, habit is a repetitive behavior. Okay, and what is a behavior? How does the habit gets formed in the first place? Now, habits get formed from a cue. That means a trigger. Okay, and that trigger leads to a behavior, and that behavior, why do we do that behavior, why do we indulge in that behavior, is that we get a pleasure out of that behavior. That means you get reward out of that behavior, and that reward now releases a brain chemical called dopamine, and that dopamine now creates the craving for us to have that more, to have the dopamine more, to have that the reward or the pleasure more. And that is how we get into a vicious circle of engaging in a certain behavior over and over again. Okay, it feels like you don't have any control on it. So then how do you control, or how do you break that habit, that bad habit? Now, that the reward, okay, plays the most important part in this entire cycle. So that means when our brain associates a reward in that behavior, then it will keep doing that same thing over and over again until that reward is there, it will do it. So what do you do then? Now, if you see that reward, that reward is always an immediate one. Okay, so that means that that our brain doesn't think the reward will come by default. Okay, it doesn't think of the reward in a longer run. It sees the short term reward or the immediate reward. Okay, so how do you break that cycle is by two things. Okay, very simple. Well, we have to practice it. Okay, and when you practice it, then it will get easier and easier. So the two things, what do you do? So you first associate, or you create something called frictions. It's a psychological term. You create that fiction. That means you associate not the reward to that behavior. So you associate pain to that behavior, or a friction to that behavior. And at the same time, second thing what you do is associate pleasure at a long run. Okay, long term pleasure, not an immediate one. So that means the reward you'll get is a long term reward. Okay, so you focus on the long term reward. So that means you think about long term, while at creating that barrier at the, or the friction in in the short run. Okay, in the immediately, if you create that barrier, that is how you can get rid of that bad behavior or bad habit.